Over the weekend, lots of Indiana
Hoops at
basketball
Assembly
team camp
Hall.
action going on. Did you make it out there?
I did. I did. Saw a good
Oh,
game between Braylon Mullins and Sicily. It was good overall. I mean, some good basketball for summertime high school basketball. They had some good talent there.
Trent ended up with 48 points in a game that they won, in which Heritage Hills wins like 76-74 with the last second slam by Trent Sisley. What did you see? The new Rivals rankings came out. Trent Sisley went from being somewhere in the 80s to number 31. All of the guys that Indiana is chasing, I forget, John, how many it was now, but it's like 8 or so that are all in the top 7, inside the top 70. There's 3 guys in the top 10. Braylon Mullins jumped to number 31. Malachi Moreno, and then of course Trent Sisley, he jumped to 67. He doesn't get the national attention for some reason, and I don't understand that. What's not that he needs it, wants it. It's just, it's good to feel it, but he's like a quiet, steady performer. He's always performing, and it's just not always loud.
Yeah, I mean, and I honestly like I try to explain to, if you're talking to a young parent about their kid going through the recruiting process and all that, you try to explain this, and then you get to use good examples like this. So Braylon Mullins is deserving of all of the accolades he's getting right now. But look at the way it has snowballed. So as soon as, the timing for him was great. I think Sicily and some guys like that who maybe got offers earlier on in their career, in their high school career, younger, those offers kind of sit there for a little while, and then people kind of wonder, oh, well, did he get offered? Or the timing can just affect it a bunch. And when you look at a guy like Braylon Mullins, he has just continued to gain all of this momentum in recruiting and ratings. And once you start getting offers from, especially in the summertime, if you get summertime offers from, Kansas, Michigan State, Indiana, Purdue, schools like that, everyone starts jumping on board. And then the ratings people almost feel obligated to bump you way, way up, because hang on a minute, if Kansas is recruiting a kid from Indiana, he's got to be in the top 20. I mean, that's just kind of the way it works, unfortunately. But, you can't argue with the improvement that all of those guys have made. I don't think Sicily gets near as much attention as he should get. And I think some people don't realize how athletic he is. Watching him play this weekend, he had multiple times where he just gets a rebound and goes up and dunks it. Like, they're not fast breaks where you're getting your momentum. I mean, we're talking he's athletic enough to just catch it, go up and dunk it. And I don't think a lot of scouts and coaches and recruiters know, and rating people realize he's as athletic as he is. And he's shooting the ball, percentage-wise, he's shooting the ball as well, if not better, than anyone in the state. So I don't know. Those guys are all deserving of all the credit they're getting right now.
And not that he wasn't all shooting the ball well before. He's seems to be shooting it better. At the All-Star game, he was 4 or 5 behind the arc. His 3-point shooting has improved, and he worked with someone. I'm trying to think of who it was. The shot father.
I was very fortunate to have his dad let me work with him a little bit, and we had some immediate success. And that all that success is due to him. Like, he is so coachable. That is not a trait that you can say about every young athlete in today's world. And he was just open to learning anything and wanted to be a sponge and learn as much as he could. And he had a couple of things that we fixed really simply. And everything he's doing right now is just a matter of his hard work and discipline and everything he's doing. And he's just going to continue to shoot the ball better. His confidence has grown so much. in shooting the ball. He's just going to continue to get better and better. And that is something about a player that his upside is huge and he's already really, really good. And so, it's unlimited for, him and Mullins and all those guys. Like, they can be so good. And they most likely will be. It's got go to the right system and the right program and put yourself in the right situation. And those guys are going to thrive in college.
And not that all of them aren't, but Trent is one of those guys that's going to be loved wherever he goes because of some of those things you just said. Man, is he coachable? Because today you hear so many fans complaining about players not seeming that they're indoctrinating themselves into either the culture or the school or this and that. Trent Sisley and Braylon Mullins as well, but they are those guys. That's exactly what they are. And the fact of being so coachable is to be better. And to be better, you're making those around you better. And so those are the special players that are not, it's not all about me. That's the difference. And I think that there's too much of that today.
Yeah. And that's been, that's kind of where AAU basketball has taken youth basketball over the years into where put up as many numbers as you can. And it's not about winning these tournaments. It's about, your numbers. And that's where these guys are a little different. And I love the more ranking, the higher up in the rankings they go, the more publicity they get, the less you have to worry about putting up numbers and all that. But Sicily is a guy, I'll use Trey Galloway for Indiana fans is a good example in that Trey kind of has adapted his game to what works best for the team. And he's probably sacrificed some things that he might have been better at or do better to do what's best for the team and helping the team win. And I feel like both Mullins and especially Sicily are guys who also would do that. And you talk about these guys are going to be endeared by whatever fan base they go to. That's a true fact because they are guys that are going to do what it takes to win. And winning is, I think, the most important thing to those guys. I talked to Sicily after they lost the game to Greenfield Central and Mullins' team on Saturday. And I mean, he was down. Like he played pretty good. His numbers were good, but he just losing the game hurt his feelings. And those are the guys I really like rooting for, are guys that hate to lose.
There is no trading that. And it's something that can't be measured. A lot of times it's something that absolutely can't be seen.
Yep.
It's an inner drive. What was that game like? Because first of all, Sicily, Trent, and Braylon, obviously two completely different positions: shooting guard, wing for Trent. But that Greenfield Central probably has a better overall team, I think. But
they
that
were
had to be a hell of a game to watch.
They were deeper. Yeah, they were deeper. I mean, they had a lot more guys they could run in, and they played a lot of zone. Greenfield played a lot of zone in that game, and it was your kind of typical high school game. Greenfield made more shots from the outside, and especially the game got pretty close a few times. Greenfield got out to a little bit of a lead early on, and it kind of hung around that 8 to 12 point margin throughout the game. But then Heritage Hills got it down to inside of 5 points with about 6 minutes to go in the game. And then there was just a barrage of 3-pointers from Greenfield, and a couple from Mullins and a couple from other guys on their team. And then it got back out to like a 15, 20-point lead pretty quickly. So it was a good game. But Greenfield was pretty much in control the majority of the game.
And much as opposed to AAU action that we see a lot of during the summer, even the guys we're talking about, Braylon Mullins, Trent Sisley, et al. Are now this gets mixed back because these are their high school teams. So it's a different pace of play, or not so much pace, but it's a different style of play completely.
It is. It's a different pace, style, all of that, because you're talking about high school. I mean, we're when we go watch them play in AAU tournaments, Sicily and Mullins and that Indiana elite team, we go watch a lot. Every guy on that team is going to have a Division I offer. And when you watch the high school teams, there's probably going to be one guy on each team with a Division I offer. In some of the games, there's no Division I offers, and so it's totally different level of basketball. But it's also, it's kind of, you get to see a lot of freshman kids play, and I enjoy watching kids develop and get better. So to be able to watch some of the younger kids play and play with a guy like Mullins or a guy like Sicily only makes them better. I remember as a freshman and sophomore in high school playing with the upperclassmen and the older guys, and you just really look up to them and you try to, emulate and do some of the culture that those guys have done at your high school. And that makes it fun. And Braylon Mullins is developing a culture at Greenfield that is awesome and cool and fun. Same way with Sicily at Heritage Hills. I mean, that's, he's got a following there. I go down there and shoot with them, and I can see students just stand around and watch him work out and shoot. And like, he's an icon and a big figure down there.
Oh, it's like when you were in high school at Lawrence North, or Pat Graham was at Floyd Central, Damon Bailey at Bedford North Lawrence. I mean, these guys become larger than life in a way, especially in a state that values basketball so much.
And especially in the smaller towns. Like, yes, in Indy and being at Lawrence North, yes, there is that to an extent, but not like it is when you go to a small town community. And I hope I'm not saying that derogatory, because I mean it in a positive way. I told Trent Sicily this when I was down there. I'd have given anything to grow up in an area like where he was, because it's just a small town. You can tell every time he goes. I mean, we went out to dinner down there, and people would just stop and talk to him. Their family knows every other family in the restaurant. It's just fun. Like, I think that's neat. It's not for everybody, but I think that's cool. And especially when you're talking about high school athletics, I saw all the other little kids at their school, like, looking up to Trent. Like, that's a cool thing to be. I remember that at Coach Kiefer's camps in the summertime. The little kids, I could just tell they were idolizing you. And that's kind of your first time that happens when you're a young athlete growing up and you're starting to get notoriety and have college scholarship offers. You see these little kids at the camps, and they're like, not just asking for your autograph, but like everything you say, they're trying to do and take. And it's just, that makes it cool. And I thought it was really neat down at the Heritage Hills in that community down there. They just have a neat setup down there. And I know Trent loves it.
And not only that, though, this is stuff that you hear about people talking about all their life. Oh, I remember going to this camp. Yep. I remember going to that camp. I remember going to Bob Knight's camp. Yep. I remember Todd Leary was one of my counselors. Yep. I mean, you hear this stuff all the time.
Yep. And you do. I still hear today. I mean, 30 some years later, I'm still here. I'll still hear someone say, you and I were at Bob Knight camp together, or, you were my counselor or whatever. Like, those are what make it fun. And I wish I had taken I wish we had cell phones and stuff back then, because I'd love to have videos of that kind of stuff. Oh. These kids today are lucky/unlucky in some ways with social media, but yeah, it was fun. That was cool.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and thank you for enjoying our content and videos. And make sure you hit that subscribe and notifications toggle so you don't miss out on anything, whether it's Indiana Hoosiers, the Boilers, the Colts, the Pacers, Indiana high school action, whatever's happening in sports. We're trying to bring it all to you, and make sure you don't miss out on a thing. Again, hit the subscribe button for us. Helps us out a ton. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much.